Gen 3 really provides a stable, cost-effective resource. It will provide approximately 68% of the requirements for this area. It reduces that risk associated with market prices out in the future. We don't have to look too far back to know what kind of havoc market prices can raise with energy prices, how the market affects natural gas, affects electricity, and this really provides a stable resource for approximately 2/3 of the requirements for this area, and does result in a net decrease in the purchase power expenses then with Black Hills Power. I'm going to turn it over to Rita now for a few slides.
Thank you. My name is Rita Mulkern, and I'm also in the Regulatory Affairs Department. And first, I'll just switch here. Go into a little bit more detail on the YGen, the studies, and why we decided to do it. As I said, at the time we were negotiating the contract in 2000, starting in 2004, and looking towards the future. And we signed the contract, and as we said, part of that contract gave us the opportunity to invest. And the current contract now that we entered into expires in 2016. And market prices can be very volatile. And there's a high uncertainty if we continue to purchase 100% of our requirements, that in 2016 there could be a significant effect on the market pricing on the cost of energy. And by investing in the YGen plant, it reduces the effect of the potential volatility. And that is a good thing for customers. It also provides a diversity in the supply source. Right now we purchase 100% of the supply from this one contract. By having the YGen facility that we will own, that provides a little bit more diversity. We won't have all our eggs in one basket. And that's also an advantage. And it also gets back to buying versus renting. By owning the plant, we have a little bit more control. It provides a stable price, and we will own the asset, and we also believe that's a good thing for our customers. We mentioned volatility of market prices and volatility in general, and I like to do graphs, so I like pictures. So I did one, and this one is a graph showing this is the cost of the energy that we purchase for customers through this purchase power contract starting in 1996 through the most recent. And you can see there was a big jump. We had a contract that expired in 1996, and we saw a 22% increase in cost at that time when we renegotiated that contract. At that time, the contract that was in effect from 1997 through 2006 was a fairly stable one. But as you can see, when we negotiated, when we got a contract that went in effect in 2007, there is a market price component of the contract. And we've already seen that there is some volatility to the contract because of that. And we expect energy prices have been volatile. Natural gas prices are very volatile. Market energy prices can be volatile, going up and down, spiking. And YGen will bring some stability to that and reduce that volatility that we are seeing. If we waited until 2016 to renegotiate the contract, the market could be extremely high. It could be low, but that doesn't mean we'd get a low price, because there would likely be a market component to the contract. But this really just demonstrates that we're already seeing some volatility in the current contract we have, which, if with part ownership of YGen, should reduce some of that volatility. And in addition to, we talked about investing in the YGen plant, we currently have invested quite a bit of money in our, we call it distribution facilities we have to deliver the electricity to the customers here in the Sheridan area. And we've been continually investing in that, and will continue to. And just for an idea, in 2000, we had invested about $35 million in our facilities in the Sheridan area and the area we serve around here. At 2008, that had gone up to $46 million. So we have invested, will continue to invest in the facilities to serve customers. And one of the questions we get a lot is, we're making this big investment, and over time, this plant, say, is going to be, has a life of, say, 35 years. Over time, the value of that plant will go down. And so, all other things being equal, if we never put another penny into that plant or another penny into any other facility, shows the investment, and that would go down, and we would see a decrease in our rates because of that. However, that situation doesn't happen because we continue to invest in our distribution facilities to deliver electricity to customers, but also we will continue to invest in that Y-gen plant. We're putting a $64 million investment. Over time, we're going to have to put additional money in, just as when you have a house. Over time, you put on a new roof, you have to replace the furnace, you have to do other improvements to the house. A power plant is no different. So while the investment in Y-gen will go down over time, overall our investment will probably stay flat, and we won't see a decrease because we continue to put money into this system. And this is a picture, Montana Dakota Utility serves not only in Wyoming, we also have properties in North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana. And North Dakota, South Dakota, and Montana are part of what we call an interconnected system. And we have a lot of generation in those three states that go to serve those three states. And Sheridan is not connected to that system, and so we have a separate supply for this. And as you can see, this graph is it represents the areas we serve. Sheridan is this little, as some refer to it as this island. It's not really an island in terms of just it's not connected to the rest of our system. But we have, right now, with this contract, we'll have demand or requirements. Our customers will require about 60 megawatts of power. And of that, Y-gen 3 will supply about 25, or less than half of that capacity. And this just shows we do have a lot of investment for the other states, and all the customers in Montana and North Dakota and South Dakota pay for all those investments in generation in those three states. And we've listed all the generation and the power plants we have in each state. That's just kind of idea of, we own a lot of generation, we participate in a lot of power plants, and so we feel comfortable with our experience investing in the Y-gen plant.
Again?
We actually have more.
Oh, keep going.
So, switch up again. Yeah. Sorry. And I think the other thing this map, it does show the generation, and it is the electric system. So while our operations are integrated among all of our states that we serve, this is really just showing the power supply in Wyoming versus the others. Some of the other efficiencies that we've implemented and that we continue to always try to do is take advantage of technologies when it's economic to do so. So some of that is the automatic meter reading that we've recently invested in and provides a more efficient way to handle that, and centralizing some of the calls and the credit areas, just mobilizing providing data into our service trucks and offering the pay stations. I'm going to move now into a bit about the cost allocation to the rate classes, and we basically use a very detailed study, which we refer to as a class cost of service study, and that is what we need to use and what we use as a guide in how is this rate increase going to be allocated to the various different types of customers that we serve in the area, which is very typical across every provider. There's different types of service that we provide. Those that allocation is based on cost causation. So we're looking at, is it a customer related cost, something that's going only to your home, a meter for example, or a service line into your home. That would be based on customers. If it's driven by energy use, it's based on the energy use among the various classes, and demand likewise. So this study provides us the information we need to look at to as we allocate the increase.